Bullying is a topic that I think needs no introduction. It's something that almost 1 in 4 pupils have reported to have happened to them, and that's only the ones who have reported it. Now, bullying is something that hits really close to home for myself, and I'm sure for a lot of you, and I don't believe it should be this taboo subject that we aren't meant to talk about. Now, obviously, everyone's story is going to be different, and everyone's openness to talk about their stories is going to be different too, due to it just being such a personal and complex issue. But bullying isn't a topic that I personally shy away from, and I'm really happy to be able to tell my story and experiences if it means that other people don't feel alone with what they're going through. And I hope to be able to give you the advice that I should have heard when I was younger, but I never heard because I just never told anyone. And I myself had to tough it out for 5 or 6 years without telling anyone, and it ranged from physical to verbal abuse and just harassment constantly, with my peers doing it because I was the easy target. And it's something that I kind of noticed about the school system, is that I would get bullied to the point where I'd lash out on them, a lot of the time physically, which they'd find funny, but the school would take very seriously, whilst ignoring the troubles I tried bringing up to them. And this really does make you feel like shit, because it makes you feel extremely alone from the people who are meant to be there to protect you. But of course, bullying isn't an isolated incident. It doesn't just affect schools. They can be hiding in all sorts of places, such as online, or at work, or even just in public in general. And bullying is a topic that I realise is extremely heavy, so writing this script was actually quite difficult, especially when I'm trying to link it to just an adult cartoon. And speaking of adult cartoons, today we're going to be looking at one of my favourite episodes of South Park, Season 16, Episode 5, Butterballs. Now, we're gonna have a lot going on in this episode, so we're gonna focus on 2 characters, and that's Butters and Bucky Bailey. Now, this episode begins with the main group of boys sat eating lunch, with Cartman complaining about modern day music videos and the vulgarity behind them. And this is when Butters enters with a bold black eye.
See, you can't remember. Hey, fellas, where's your lunch, Butters? Oh, it's okay. I'm not hungry anyways. Dude, did a bully take your lunch money again? Yeah. That's the 3rd day in a row. You gotta tell a teacher.
And of course, all of his friends are extremely worried about him. It's evident he's getting bullied. And Stan brings up a really good point. He should tell a teacher, because even if they don't help, he can say that he tried, and he won't feel bad or regret about not trying anyway. But Butters also echoes kind of the feeling that you have, especially when you're being bullied. And it's a feeling I know all too well, and I'm sure a lot of people do as well.
Nah, I'm not a tattletale. Well, then write the principal an anonymous letter. No, I'm not no anonymous Andy.
So they'll just get a bigger bully to beat the bully up.
No, I don't want kids calling me a cliché conflict resolution Kevin.
Which really does bring up the question of the episode, because as a bystander, would you then break your friend's boundaries to make them talk about it if they don't want to, because you know it'll do better for them? Or do you just let them suffer in silence? And Stan answers this question this episode. He goes beyond the boundaries set by his friend to bring more awareness to bullying. And his intentions start out true. He wants the bullying to stop, not just to his friend, but to anyone who might be experiencing it, by, quote, making bullying kill itself. But just continuing with the Butters storyline for a second, the boys bring up that he should talk to his grandma, who's visiting town, and Butters works up the courage to actually talk to her.
Could I maybe talk to Grammy alone?
Well, sure, I guess. We'll go make some tea.
Oh, some tea would be lovely. What's up? Huh? You think you're tough, huh?
But shockingly, we find out that Butters' bully isn't some kid from school, but it's his own grandma who's visiting. And this links back to my point about the school system and my experiences with it, because the people who are meant to protect you actually might make the situation worse. And of course, with his bully being in a position of such power, he isn't able to talk to anyone. And as a side note, there's also that power dynamic due to gender, because as a man, Butters will grow up with the mentality of, you're getting hit by a girl, man up, which is such a toxic mindset to have. And it gets to a point where Butters' grandma goes out of her way to harass him wherever he is, whether that be in his school bathroom, at home, even in his own bedroom. And as I mentioned, Stan isn't really making things better for him, even though he feels like he is. He's broken Butters' boundaries and he's making a school music video and it's going to be picked up by this big movie company, and Butters is getting so much attention, but that's not what he wants. That's not what he said he wants. And with all this pressure mounting on his shoulders to represent the school's anti-bullying campaigns and for the movie company and for his friend Stan, it all culminates in Butters being on a parody of Dr. Phil called Dr. Oz.
Come on, this is for everyone who's been a victim. What do you want to say to bullies all across America? Go ahead, right now, say it.
Stop trying to make me say things I don't want to on your TV show.
Do you hear that, bullies? Stop making kids say things on your TV shows.
Which also is an interesting scene, because Dr. Oz asks him to say something to his bully, and instead Butters addresses Dr. Oz himself. And that's because, yeah, he's bullying Butters into just saying things that he wants him to say. And that really reinforces the idea of bullies can be anywhere. Because it's not just a kid at school, it's not just Butters' grandma, but it's also this random dickhead on the TV. And of course, with this guy being the catalyst, everything that's been pushing onto Butters and been pressuring him comes up to the surface and he explodes.
Over 200,000 students are afraid to go to school because of bullying. Don't you care? You better care.
And if this were a different show, this would be the point where all the characters realise, well, we've been pushing him to do something he doesn't want to do. Let's talk to him about that. But because this is South Park, they take the realistic route instead.
How was I supposed to know Butters was actually a violent psychopath?
And instead of looking towards themselves and what they did wrong, they look towards Butters as being a violent psychopath, and he's ruined their chances at stardom, and that he's shown them to be uncaring assholes, which they are, by the way. And they just look at him as though he's the problem, when actually he's been the victim this whole time. Stan bullied him into being in the video, the movie company bullied him into being in the movie, Dr. Oz bullied him on live TV, and yet he's the psychopath? And Butters kind of summarizes his grandma's treatment of him quite well near the end of the episode, where he speaks to her when he thinks she can't properly hear him.
Grandma? I did it, Grandma. I finally stood up for myself. I got real mean and I beat the snot out of Dr. Oz. Since then, all I have is just kind of dark, empty feeling. And then I realized that's how you must feel all the time. And when you're laying in that hospital bed with tubes up your nose and that little pain under your butt to pee in, I'll come visit you. I'll come just to show you that I'm still alive and I'm still happy. And you'll die, being nothing but you.
And Butters here breaks the normal notion that all bullies have something going on in the background, which is usually taught at schools. But I don't really like this thought process, because it frames the bully in such a sympathetic light, and at least for myself, made me feel like my anger and borderline hatred towards these people was misguided, and it made me feel guilty in the situation. And some people are just bad people who enjoy the pain and suffering that they can inflict on others. And that brings me around to the character I mentioned in the beginning, Bucky Bailey. And this is kind of his storyline and how it conflicts with Butters, but also sets up a different narrative that you can think about. Now, Bucky Bailey begins the episode, try saying that 3 times fast, as a character who bullies Mr. Mackey, the school guidance counselor, into changing his assembly plans from positive thinking into an anti-bullying assembly with the children.
You may only have an internet degree, but why don't you start acting like you're a school counselor and not an uninformed, backwards little dork, okay?
Attention students, today we will have an assembly on the subject of bullying, okay?
And once they have the assembly, it riles Stan up enough to be able to take the whole school and make an anti-bullying music video. And I've already mentioned all of this with Stan pushing Butters' boundaries, so I'm not going to talk about it all again. However, I do want to mention one more time that this music video was taken on by a huge movie studio to create a movie with Butters as the centerpiece. Now, once Bucky Bailey hears about this, he's not very happy, because this was originally his company that came in to talk to the kids about bullying, and now another company is swooping in to take seemingly all the profit.
What's up? You went and made a video and sold it without letting me know.
Huh?
Doing a video was my idea. It's the property of Bucky Bailey's Bully Buckers trademark. You got that? You greedy, selfish little prick! Oh, what, you gonna cry?
No.
No, go ahead, cry. Let me see you. Let me see you cry.
Now, once again, this is him bullying someone into trying to get them to do whatever he wants to do, just like he did with Mr. Mackey. Except this time, it doesn't work, and the movie company gets involved.
What's up? I'm Mick Jabs, president of the movie company that bought the bully video.
And the bully gets bullied by a new bully after bullying a child. But this character shows off that kind of mentality of bullies aren't all they're cracked up to be. And they might be pricks, but they're also kind of pussies because they're picking on the smaller people and the people who they believe won't fight back.
Oh, you gonna cry? Oh, don't cry, it'll look bad with your widow Captain Kangaroo haircut.
And yeah, I know this episode has been a bit heavier because it's something that I personally have an attachment to. And I'm sorry that I swore a lot as well. Again, this is something that's really close to my heart, and it's something that I feel really passionately about that isn't having enough being done to stop, or at least help the victims. And in my experience as a victim of bullying, the only person who really got reprimanded was me, because I let it all bottle up and I took it out on those who were making me feel the way I felt, but I got in trouble for it. And in regards to the episode, I believe that no one was thinking of doing right by Butters. They should have supported him regardless of what he said, instead of trying to fight this invisible evil or make a ton of money on his suffering. And that's the takeaway, I suppose. If I could give my bullied self some advice, talk to someone. And if you are a bystander, don't stand by. But also don't tear down the boundaries the victim set up. Be good to them, not bad to their bullies. But anyway, that's it from me. This video has been really touchy and it's been quite long to make because it hits so close to home. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope I at least helped one of you. Be good people, stay hydrated, but most of all, love each other and yourselves. I see you all in the next one. Have a great day, guys.